All right, 6:01, calling to order the June 19, 2019 Bovey City Council meeting. Roll call, Dvoyevich,
Here.
Hekovich, here. Meyernail,
Here.
Johnson, and I'm here. We need to approve the agenda. Is there a motion to accept the agenda as written?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved by Dvoyevich, second by Johnson. For discussion, there was some changes for under guest number 3, Beautiful Bovey. And
then
Where should I-
under police, we put the hire of
Okay.
Dane Peterson.
Peterson for part-time.
Yep. Let's see.
And under council members, I'd like to talk just briefly about our ordinances.
I think we have that under old business.
Oh, there it is. Going blind. Thank you. Any other additions, corrections, or deletions?
Can you put under council members the growing community
Growing community?
application? Yeah.
Anything else? Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Moving straight on to guest, Gene Saronic, Bovey Farmers Day.
Yeah. Where does that make it?
Well, it's celebration and it works. You changes? Do things the same?
Thank you.
I added this under the too, so just to talk about that briefly.
Here's extra copies. Well, the 100th Bovey Farmers Day will be held Friday, August 31st through Monday, September 2nd. And again, we're going to have the senior citizen dance, sponsored by the world's smallest record store. The Roaring Twenties Gatsby Party, that'll round out Friday. And in this room, we're going to set up a model train display from the Western Massage Model Railway Club. So we're going to take part of this. So if we can move those tables back and some chairs, I figured we could store some things in there so they can have their trains.
Sure.
That'd be kind of fun. It's free to everybody. There once again will be a 5K fun run, and we're thinking of expanding it to a run block. Maybe bringing dogs, having the dogs go last, let the runners go, be done, and let the dogs go through. So nobody, people who don't like dogs won't be bothered. That's just a thought. The cribbage tournament will go on, and again, the model trains. And then Saturday night, the white sidewalls from the cities will be playing for the street dance. And they'd like the dance to start at 9 o'clock so that they'll be done an hour after the fireworks are over, because they want to play for a couple hours. They figure they're not young bucks anymore, so they need to finish early. But that'll still carry us on an hour beyond when the fireworks end. We have it at Greenway in April, so a fairly nice crowd. And then the fireworks on the hill. Sunday's typical with the chalk drawing. Cross out the picture Grace photo display, I guess I didn't believe that. The model train club. And then the national night out at 4 o'clock at the Trout Lake Fire Department. Monday, senior citizens fry bread, produce display out here, scarecrow contest on Main Street. The Northern Gearhead Car Show to be on the corner of Fourth and Main Street and go north from there. They're anticipating 75 to 150 cars. So I don't know how far north we're gonna go from there. After the parade, they have the option of moving on the Main Street. There will be more logistics talks about this.
Gonna keep Main Street closed off then?
And technically, when we do apply for the closure, we say we're going to close everything for, till late Monday. And then it can open for emergency vehicles and things like that, so. But, so there'll be nothing on the street during the parade and after the parade if they choose to move on onto the street. Or if they're in the parade, they can just park.
Right.
So. And then after the parade, we're gonna try a band down by Pink Building, the old Hagan's building. And what's gonna happen with the stage is the white sidewalls need a 26 by 26. So that's bigger than what we have. So what we're going to do is not use the city stage. We're gonna have a 26 by 26 put in that intersection back off the corner on 2nd Avenue going north. Have it from 2nd Street back, and that's where it's going to stay. And we'll have a tent over it, so we'll just have to accommodate the viewers and stuff to be there. There's just no way to move it. We have to be paying lefties to come and move it. So that's where the stage is gonna be. We won't be using the city, so then we won't be using that tent. The vegetable display will have a smaller tent, and we'll still have the bounce house. But we're rearranging sizes and things so that we're paying the same amount of money.
Frugal.
Yeah. Then there'll be the beanbag tournament, the sawdust pile, the bingo downstairs. The library book sale all weekend, flea market, food vendors. That's about it.
You looking for donations for the bingo thing too, still?
It's a cash bingo.
It's all cash?
We get gambling permit for it and split the pot. And the proceeds go to the Boys and Girls Club. Anyway. Any questions?
Nope, sounds like you got it under control.
Yeah, we're just raising money for it now. Sarmas are July 17th. We're gonna start cooking them Tuesday. So if anybody wants to learn how to make a sarma, come.
A lot of work.
No, it isn't. Not
Well,
the way
they-
we-
it's quite
If I
easy.
do it.
No, it's quite easy.
not the way we do it. We make it easy, we make it fun, and we toast the Serbian sisters with a shot of rakia. So, that's it.
Toilets.
Yes, we're gonna have toilets.
There was that contract there.
Yeah.
Are you accepting it? Are you questioning it?
No, we just gotta vote on it.
Yeah, does it say how many we need and stuff?
It has on here,
6.
total of 6, one's a handicap.
That's sufficient.
Right. That's what we have every year, and we've taken the one, we had one over by, across from the emergency services building, we have one there, because people needed to use it on the way to their cars. But we're putting it down, because the slide saddles are gonna be so big.
Is this something we need to vote on every year? Because I think it was about 3-4 years ago, we agreed to pay for
We budgeted for
we
it.
budgeted for it every year.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you have to, they want.
Just to approve their contract.
yeah, this is
I thought we
something
voted
different
on
they're
it.
doing this year, is giving us a contract.
No, she didn't come, it was under her and then we didn't, you know.
She didn't make it.
Concern I have is we only one handicap toilet brought in, 2 different locations. Should we have one kind of strategically and one over there?
We can do that, we can tell them wherever we want, you know, they're nice.
I would, I mean,
We usually put the handicapped across from the old jail, in that alley up there, behind the woods. That was
Yeah, I just think it's a matter of functionality, we should have more than one handicap.
And then we have one toilet that's always at the ballpark, so that the people who line up for the parade,
Yeah, I agree with that.
and they throw that in.
But I don't know if the price would change or not, but I think they should have more than one handicap.
Yeah, the handicaps are $125.
800 for our price.
Yeah.
Well,
$20
So
more.
change it to 4 and 2, is that what you're saying, or just add one?
well, no, I think we should have two handicap
So
doors.
change it to 4.
So change out one of the small ones to a big one and put it downtown.
It's $20 more on the bill. No?
Right, yeah, 20.
Yep.
Want a motion now, or?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract with Northern Portables on that day. I'll second.
A motion by Johnson, second by Hekmovich, and that's with the $20 additional. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Would you like this back to sign?
Yeah, we said.
Yes, I'll take it, please.
And then you can make the changes.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to the next guest, Kevin McCartney. Is Kevin here? I was contacted by Kevin McCartney in regards to his assessments. He was looking for some documentation in regards to his assessments, thinking that he was assessed more than he should have been. But, because he had got more than one copy with amounts on it. But I think until we get something more from Mr. McCartney, we're gonna talk about, Debbie, do you have anything we talked about briefly?
That was set up when the improvement was made to the property.
Which was back in 2009.
Right, and he would have had an opportunity to pay it off then, or a 7 or 9 or whatever year through the county. And they just tack it on to the taxes, and it would change every year, it would be going down.
What he told me was that he pays the interest, and he pays it, the prices are going down. So I'm not sure what he meant by that.
But we have nothing to do with that, county handles all the paperwork on that.
Right, and that's why I directed him to the county. He came back and said it was all Bovey that,
No,
It's Bovey's assessment, which we submit to the county.
Right.
But, I mean, if he needs more detailed information, he can come see me and look at the documents if he needs to.
okay. Anything further on that, since he's not here? Guess number 3, beautiful Bovey.
Hello, I have our new water person with us today, so she's going to introduce herself, and this is who you see driving around a lot more this year, so. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Sean Longwest, and I'm in Itasca County Wellness Court, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Water
to
flowers.
Yeah, so thanks for having me. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thanks for, I just want to say personally how much I appreciate you. That's all I just want to say there. Thank you, very needed, so thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome.
Thanks. So if you guys wonder who's driving around a lawnmower, that is who it is. So, okay, I just got a couple of things for beautiful Bovey. We, as you have seen, the plants were out, there were garbage bags on them, and they came back down, and it's been a very interesting year with frost. So they're back up, they're staying up. I think next year we're going to look at probably budgeting out some, maybe some like queen size throw sheets or something, so we can just throw them up there, zip tie the bottoms, and leave them if they frost out or whatever. So I see the wheels turning over there.
Well, I got a mother that likes to sew.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe that's something too, we can look at or something like that. We just, with the, we use leaf garbage bags and we were put 2 of them on, and I mean, it was, I'm surprised they made it through. I will say that. They were up and down and all around, so. Yeah, so they're up. We paid $1,200 for the plants. They were $60 a piece, and then we also had to buy new hangers for them this year. Which originally was going to come out of Kevin's budget, so we'll talk to him and see if that's still going to happen or not, due to them being cut up last year, miscommunication. So So yeah, we'll get that taken care of. Yeah, that's all we got coming out right now, is 1,200 for plants. You know, you guys are supplying gas, we're supplying lawnmower for right now. And then, you know, we're probably gonna look at buying a new pump this year. It's kind of on the fritz, our water pumps kind of here and there and not working half the time. So yeah, so we'll have to look at that probably within the next month and figure out what that's gonna cost us. The other thing that I wanted to bring up quick, we had talked last month about maybe doing some craft fairs during summertime, maybe a flea market, stuff like that. You know, we talked about maybe on the grass out front, and then also, you know, doing a flea market in the parking lot over here, in the same days that they do the shop hops for the weekend. So you guys said you guys wanted a month to think about it before you guys agreed to it, so.
Well, I have thought about it, I really don't see why that would be a problem, to be quite honest with you. I mean, the city of Bovey has general liability insurance to begin with. I mean, if they're gonna be selling fireworks or booze or something like that, that might be an issue. But I mean, that don't feel like vendors that are gonna be coming in or with you or not, but I don't have a problem with it.
Okay. And see, we haven't super looked into it yet, just because, you know, we kind of want to get permission from you guys first, and kind of see where it goes from there. You know, my thoughts that I have is that we would probably do like a flea market type deal over here in the parking lot next to the shelter right there, and then,
They used to have them lined up by the bike trail for years when I first moved here. There almost every other weekend, flea markets down there.
oh, really? Okay. See,
See,
I didn't know there was
that one went to a lot of Carlson's.
Well, even just on the road, they were lined up back there by the trail.
And the flea markets in the basement have been successful,
Yeah.
so.
Oh, okay, yeah, and yeah, like I said, we've done the craft fairs downstairs, we've done really good with them, you know, we've done food for them, all that kind of stuff, so. Yeah, so we're just looking at that, summertime, we want to be outside a little more,
Yeah,
and, yeah, so if it's okay with you guys, we probably start moving forward with that.
is it something we need to vote on, or is it just a matter of getting with the city clerk and just making arrangements? I mean, yeah.
Okay,
Have
good
at it.
on that. That's all I got for tonight, so.
I think you guys should get a hold of, or have Kevin talk to Harry, or get a hold of somebody from Adam Johnson from the golf course,
Okay,
and see about renting one of their old golf carts for the year or something. I mean, the lawnmower we got is junk.
you know, that's my lawnmower, or?
You know what I mean? I mean,
That's what I said,
the city of Corey has one, that's what they do with
You
it.
could do, like I told her, you could do better because she's in that lawnmower.
Yeah.
That's what I meant by that, you know, 'cause
Well,
it's-
and we thought, you know, I was looking at this year, and I said, well, you know, why are you pulling on a trailer?
Right.
You know, we need, give me an 800 meg bracket, we mount the whole thing, you know what I mean, just things like that. So yeah, I think it is definitely something that we're gonna look at, figure out something different to do. You know, because some of us don't have problems back in trailers, but some of us do. And we get to take some tight spots sometimes, so yeah, we'll look around at it and figure out what we're gonna do.
They might even have one they'll let you use, I don't know.
Okay.
Actually, I think Jeff had contacted them like last
I
year.
never talked to the right person.
Okay.
I'm going there tomorrow, I'll talk to Adam.
Okay.
do they have one that gets old
They
and
have a
sell?
bunch of them, yeah. I'll ask them.
All right, thank you much.
All right, thank you. Moving on to consent agenda. Oh, sorry, public forum. You're getting ahead of myself.
That's okay. A group of women and myself are reserving Bovey Town Hall downstairs for a garage sale and bake sale. And the proceeds are gonna go to a local businesswoman that's battling cancer, so we were gonna see if they would raise the fee for August 8th and 9th.
Got a motion?
I have a motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Meyer Nail, second by Johnson. Any further discussion? Can I don't know your first name.
My name is Susan Hunter.
Hi, Susan. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Alright.
Is anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, so do I just contact the
I got it.
Okay, you got it, okay, and it's for the 8th and 9th, which is Friday and Saturday, but she said we could probably, come down Wednesday evening and start setting it up. Okay. All right, do you need a phone number or anything?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, 259
Okay.
1234.
How'd you get that one?
Well,
Nice. Yeah, that's like the original.
it's not that great. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, put my glasses on. little slower this time and scan the paper before I say anything. All right, moving on to the consent agenda now. We need a motion for the minutes from the June 5th, 2019 council meeting and the disbursements for claims and payroll.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Heckovich, second by Johnson. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
No one's opposed, motion carries. Moving on to department heads, Police Chief William Pullum. He's not here, but we do have the reports for the police calls. Any questions about that? It's pretty standard.
Did they give, any, I know it's on here, 29 blighted properties served, was there any?
I talked to Bill yesterday, maybe the day before, and he said that out of most of those, people have taken care of the blight issue. There's a couple he's still giving them more time to because they're making advancements in it, and he did write one citation because it just isn't getting any progress on it. So he had a few more he was working with, but for the most part, most of them were, the blight was vacated. So.
I think Todd, I talked to Todd too, he was working on 3 specific ones, the A-frame,
Are they getting cleaned up? I walked by the other night, it's still.
I don't know, he said something about having to schedule a meeting, so I'm not exactly sure where he's at, if it was that one, the A-frame, the never-ending garage sale, winters.
I talked to Todd today also. He had told me that there's some concerns about the Bovey City property next to the A-frame with stuff being stored on the property. He was checking in and making sure he could find the property lines and stuff, and he was looking into that.
Can Kevin go and find the pins?
If they're there.
Because I know he did that for my house at one point a few years ago, found.
It's very iffy.
Right.
Whether the pins are still there.
They could still be, but whether they're accurate or not too. But when I looked at it, 13 feet from the side of the garage is generous for a distance before you hit Bovey property. And last time I checked, there's definitely stuff with, on Bovey property there. And somebody else had concerns about an oil issue. So that could be something else, but Todd Lawson's looking into it. All right, and then, Sarah, or,
No, so just,
okay. And then, so now we have a new part-time officer being hired by the city of Bovey. He's currently working for Coleraine. Dane Peterson is his name. He was in here earlier, he didn't go on a call. We all met him. I need a motion. I'm being told by Tara that all the paperwork is completed. So I need a motion for his hire.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Johnson, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, a second. Is there any further discussion about hiring another part-time officer? Deb?
It was brought up before that since Corinne has already hired him, is there any way to make arrangement with Corinne to pay them so we don't have to go through all the rigmarole of...
When I talked to Bill on the phone today, he told me that if we do that, Dane's already working in Coleraine,
Correct.
and that his wages would go to overtime wages. So therefore, it would cost us more to utilize him at that point. So financially, it wouldn't make sense.
Okay, I just
But
asked.
but in the future, the discussion was we should be looking at different
Right.
things, but he said that we pay a lot more that way than if we had him here, so.
Just about,
Is he taking Andrew's place?
Well,
Is he going to school or yeah?
Andrew, Dane's in the school now, Andrew's with a different agency, but
Yeah.
we just don't have any part-time officers. For us, he's not taking Andrew's spot at the school, but he's feeling a need for part-time. Any questions or comments? All right, all in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right, fire department's next. Meeting minutes. Debbie?
they're pretty self-explanatory.
Nothing much, just.
I can kind of get into the unfinished business of the emergency service building. Did we get any response from Cory?
I have it under, let's see, yes, we did. It says, "Hi Tara, I had intended to get you a breakdown of what Coleraine spent on the construction of the emergency services building by today. However, I am faced with a few challenges, not being able to verify some of the information that is located at City Hall and not as readily available since we are still in our temporary location. I want to make sure that I provide accurate information. I anticipate that I will have the information to you within the next couple weeks. My apologies for the delay, I will get it to you ASAP."
Okay. Did you, or can I ask you to ask her that those records should be in their audit every year for the last 3 years?
Well, I kind of talked to Mary about it
Yeah.
briefly, and she just kind of said coding issues.
Yeah, well, like I say, at a 50-50%, I'd like to see the coding issues be right. Ours are. So in other words, we're just taking the word of our partner on the building, and I don't think that's quite too professional. Well, let's see what she does in 2 weeks.
So I mean,
I'm
in the
very
meantime,
very
we have
disappointed
that,
with this.
that outstanding invoice.
Correct.
I mean, so I wouldn't recommend we pay it.
No.
I would say Coleraine could pay it and
Correct.
try
And bill
to
us.
figure out.
And then we
But-
can figure out, find out whether or not
I
we
want
roll
it
that.
noted on this final invoice that what was done, the dates, and when they pay it, what exactly our half is. I want everything documented.
Yeah, we're not gonna, that's why I haven't closed out our fund, because
Right.
we need to square up. I mean,
Right.
but we can't square up until we know what they've expended.
Right, but
So
my
that's-
point is
yeah.
now this last bill from Hamlin, they issued the check, correct?
They have
Coleraine?
not yet.
But Corain is the issuer.
We don't know, I mean, we're not going to, so they should.
Has Corain been the issuer?
It swapped back and forth depending on when they hit their limit, then we took over paying, and then now we've hit our limit, and I said I'm not paying anymore until we see your numbers.
Have they seen ours?
They haven't requested them, but they can with a click of a button.
Well, it still boils down to
But no, I don't plan on paying it,
correct.
unless I'm directed to by the council, so I would not be paying it.
So it's been approved to be paid though?
By the board.
By the
by
fire
the
board.
board,
By the fire board, but
not by the council.
not by the councils.
You're tracking with that, right? 'Cause-
Yep.
yeah. I just think the contractor's owed the money.
Correct.
He did the work.
And it was approved.
It is approved, but how can you pay for something without knowing the exact extent of what our responsibility is? And then, once we pay for it, then why are they gonna get around to get to it, you know?
So I'll call Dan
Mhm.
and because they have their meeting, I think, on Monday.
Yeah.
Then I'll just explain that we're not paying it and they should pay it until they can get us.
The accurate information of what
Yeah.
the splits
And we told Hamlin at the meeting it wasn't gonna be in the next day or two or the
No,
next. He
no.
did know that.
Yeah,
So-
they do know that, but it just continues to go on and on and on. And
So,
it just isn't right.
did Ken and Bob and Lonnie go to a walkthrough of the fire department?
They did it one time now.
And did Bob approve what?
Bob recommended at our meeting that we pay it.
Oh, okay, I just wanna,
Yeah, that was in the minutes,
okay.
that he recommended we
But
pay it.
legally, we wouldn't have a leg to stand on because we approved it, everything's been
Right.
approved thus far.
Yeah.
By engineers, everybody else.
Did Hamlin say if they were coming back to fix anything else?
They
or-
fixed the concrete stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't see that, yeah.
Yeah, they just slab and cut off the clean out.
But I mean, if you look at the pillars, stuff's falling off the pillars and, I mean,
He said that's over salted and Bob agreed, I guess, so.
it's not, yeah.
But it was approved when it was installed
Okay,
Right.
by the inspector that was hired by,
Right.
yeah, so
alright.
The inspector approved it, so there's where we, so.
they have some ideas to rectify that.
Okay.
So anything further on,
Frustrating.
anything further on that? Okay. I'll scratch off unfinished emergency services there. All right, so going on to 3, planning and zoning. Kelly Peterson, building permit.
I guess I'll take it over then.
And I didn't have the permit to include a copy, but
I have the permit. The planning and zoning committee had gotten this building permit, from Adam Nemela on behalf of Kelly Peterson. They're building a garage. And the picture that we had didn't have any measurements or anything on it, so we, called them back and said we would like a better picture with description and size and lot sizes and all that kind of stuff. Making sure with the setbacks and the percentage rule. And so I've worked with them over the last 3-4 days so that we could bring it here since the planning and zoning meeting doesn't meet for another month. I think everything looks approvable. And they also want cutouts. They're also proposing cutouts for the sidewalk or the curb stops. And Kevin has already told me that he approved that also.
They just gotta pick this
So
out.
if you want to look at it, but everything has been, so that was the original, and then this piece is what he sent me after that, so. All the calculations fit, they're all good. So, can we approve that?
I'll make the motion to approve permit for Kelly Peterson Garage,
I'll second.
sidewalk and cutouts for curb.
Motion by DeBoyer, second by Johnson. Further discussion? Want a moment there to add why we did that?
I'll prove it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Anything else for planning and zoning?
That was all, we had a really excellent, I thought we had a really great meeting this past week. We talked a lot about the ordinances and where, kind of what we want us to do with that, and Mike was going to be here tonight to kind of give some information about how we feel that the ordinances need to stay or change or whatever, so I don't know if that's something we're gonna go over tonight or not, but the planning and zoning committee is aware of that. We had a very heated discussion and we came up with some really good ideas, I thought, so, also we talked a lot about the, comprehensive plan, and I did bring it to them, and I told them that, part of what we're doing with the comprehensive plan involves them, and that as we work together, that the planning and zoning committee needs to take some responsibility for if the goals are not being met, that's partially the planning and zoning committee's responsibility, because that is part of what they do too. And so there was some discussion about that, about whether or not the city council has ever, directed or given the planning and zoning committee the responsibility to uphold the comprehensive plan.
I think you guys are technically a commission, which
Yes,
has,
I'm sorry.
powers to
Yes.
do things.
But the debate was that unless you guys so move to make them responsible for the comprehensive plan, I don't know, were you there for that part of the discussion?
No, I don't, but I think by definition of planning and zoning, I think that's part of, have you read it in the legal stuff? I think that's part
Well,
of the duties.
Okay, we read the steps of creating the comprehensive plan commission, or the group that creates that, and that in there, at the end of it, it was supposed to be that whether or not that group ended its responsibility or continued its responsibility.
Well, I just mean planning and zoning
Yeah,
as a
I think they're,
definition. I think that's part of their duties.
does anybody else want to say anything about this?
The the duties are, at some point, would have been determined by the council under ordinance, or not ordinance, but I don't know what the
Resolution.
resolution. And I don't know where that record is and what the definition was at that time.
So we're getting in the weeds, I get that, like this is a little, my thing is that I'm trying to bring back to the planning and zoning committee that they are responsible and that they take more of an initiative to be responsible for the goals that are in there, and that maybe, I even said to Mike that maybe if he wanted to come to the first meeting of the month, every month, and
Participate in discussing.
yes, and then he wouldn't have to come to the third one of the month, just if he wanted to be a part of that discussion.
Absolutely fine with that.
So, I still feel that the planning and zoning committee is responsible for that, so I asked them to be a part of it. Other than that, I think that was about everything. We did also talk about blight and, talk about those three properties, the Winters property, the old jail, and,
The
the
A-frame.
apron. Those are our concerns also, so. Okay, so we as a committee will kind of watch and see what happens with that.
And I was told that Todd and Bill are both working on those three properties.
Okay.
Moving on, Attorney John Dimich.
Nothing to report on.
Anything for John?
Have you heard anything from the county at all, John, about the spur? I know that was
No,
supposed to be
I
this
haven't.
spring, but I see you haven't done anything in Calumet either, I was just wondering.
No, I haven't seen anything come to the county records.
Last
John,
week, what?
did you get that information to Tara on
Oh,
the bonding?
Oh, about the requirement that they hook up? I did not, but I did get a response from them saying it clearly is a city issue as far as hookups and requiring hookup to city services. It's not, there's no state or federal law that's come into effect that takes that power away from the cities.
We're talking hook up to what?
So cities have a right to say, as part of the police powers, as they can say that if you have a service, like a sewer service, water service, you can make those be hooked up to the service by a home.
Okay.
And it's clearly within the power of the city to do that and have restrictions like, you have to be within X number of feet, whatever. But there's nothing that's come into play that they're aware of from either state or federal.
That says that we can't record.
That we can't be doing that.
So if somebody wants to build and they say it's too far away for me to hook up, so I want to do something different, we can say, no, you need to hook it up.
You can say you need to hook it up.
All right. Anything else for John? Moving on, council members, boulevard mowing. I had a citizen call me, a couple of them, inquiring whether or not the city of Bovey was going to start mowing their boulevards because it's part of our responsibility. Last time we discussed this, there was something in our ordinance saying that we mow the boulevards, but most every other place that I know of, the citizens pay, there's still technically their property, and they mow their boulevards. So, my opinion of this is if we have something saying we're supposed to mow the boulevards, then we need to mow the boulevards, but if we don't, I mean,
It's been complaints in the last 30 years that I know of.
yeah,
And it has always been under the recommendation that the boulevard out in front of the homeowner's property is maintained by the homeowner. Any repairs, this, that, and whatever, then it comes under the city.
well, the sidewalk, the city's gonna do the repair unless the homeowner destroyed it.
Right.
The curbs come back to the city, and to my understanding, that the only reason the boulevards have easement on it, is so we can't build something on top and we can have our infrastructure underneath.
Correct.
Doesn't mean they can't put a lawn chair there, doesn't mean they can't push a for sale sign there, it just can't be permanent. Some people feel that boulevards are because they can't use it for what they want to, and that we have an easement there, that it is the city's responsibility. And so we just need to see whether or not we have an ordinance for that. That specifically says that we're responsible, and I haven't seen one.
I could look for once.
And if we do, then we'll have to do it till we change it, but if we don't, then we know what our position is, I would assume, is that we don't have an ordinance saying that's our responsibility or anything written, so therefore, it's the citizen, the homeowners, property owners, so.
Has anyone been able to show you where it says this?
No, and I haven't seen that stack that I got, look at our old ordinances, I don't remember seeing one in there about the boulevards, did anybody?
No. But it's been standard for forever.
I just wanted to bring that up, food for thought.
So can we make a note of the fact that when we review the ordinances, that we make sure that it says that we're not, that we expect people to know their own.
And I think that'll be under the blight ordinance, when it's redone, that the boulevards are part of the responsibility for mowing. Anything else on the boulevard issue? All right, and then 5B, growing communities.
Okay, so last 2 weeks ago, I brought up this growing communities initiative application that I asked if it was okay if I applied for, and I did. I applied for it. Seems like we made it past the first hurdle, and you asked me to get clarification about what this is about, and so this is what I will tell you. If we are chosen, there will be a steering committee created, and that steering committee will make an 18-month commitment to be a part of this program. Then it will start with some trainings on how to teach these people how to be better leaders, how to engage other people in the process of helping out and getting things done. So these people, the steering committee, will be trained how to hold listening sessions, and then depending on what your interests are, like if infrastructure is your interest, then you would go out in the community and hold some listening sessions with a small group of people to see, and then the whole steering committee will come back together and go on a 2-day retreat, I think. And then during that 2-day retreat, they will create goals based on their listening session. After those goals have been created, as far as I understand, is that then you will be helped to find resources, to connect with resources to get those things done, okay? So at this point, where we're at is I got an email saying that they would like to interview us as a city, as anybody who wants to be a part of this, or not even to be a part of it, but why you would like to see Bovey be a part of this. So next Wednesday at 6 o'clock here, hopefully, I have not asked Tara if it's open or not, but I'm hoping to do it here. And so everybody, I've asked people from planning and zoning, I've asked beautiful Bovey to be a part of it, asking people from the city council, even if you don't want to be a part of it, maybe even just to come and talk about why Bovey should get it, okay? So, Grow Bovey is in, they will have people there, and the Boys and Girls Club is in, and they will be there also. So if there's any other stakeholders in the community that would be good to be there, I mean, if you could spread the word and let them know. I mean, I think this would be a really good opportunity. This is Blandon, the president of Blandon, Kathy, I can't remember her last name. She's going to be there, and Jackie David will be there to interview us. So
basically they're gonna come over and, give us an audit of what we want and we're in competition with other organizations or other cities.
Where there are 2 cities will be chosen, and there are more than 2 applications, she said. So we have to put on a little get together next Wednesday. I'm hoping that we will have a nice little setup.
So if we decide that we want to do our business front as a goal, we go through this process here and we get everyone together and we get it, they will help us get funding or help us get that accomplished either through funding or resources or whatever.
This is, actually the people that are putting this on is the University of Minnesota Outreach Program or something like that. So Landon is just partnering with them to choose the cities. But it's people from the University of Minnesota that are coming to train us and stuff like that, if we get chosen. So I'm really hopeful. After talking to her, I actually am more excited than before I did the application process, so. That's all I have.
Okay. Anything else? All right, moving on to unfinished business. We already talked about the emergency services building and chlorine expenditures. Down to ordinances. If I remember correctly, we had discussed that we had asked the city crew and the police department to get back to us with their recommendations on the ordinances, what's needed and not needed. I think we've had feedback from both now, what they need. Kevin had given us feedback and Chief Holm has given some feedback. So what's the next step that we should do for these ordinances? Are we going to meet on a different day for a work session, or are we going to meet after a council meeting to start discussing it? What do you guys want to do?
I'd rather meet after a council meeting. We already have 3 meetings a month, sometimes 4.
So
I feel like I have another day.
do
Gonna add this with the comp plan workshop?
I guess we could to start. I mean, or we could do it at the end of the 3rd meeting of each month.
I would do them on separate days. Do
Yeah.
the first one comp plan, the second one can be ordinances.
So I think right now where we're at is we got a format, Colerain's format we want to use. Now we just need to sit down and start hammering out notes and start making changes and put something together. So at the very beginning it might be more confusing, but I'm hoping before December we'll have it pretty close. Or even before December. You think it's pretty big?
I was thinking December was like a long ways away.
Longest, could be sooner than that.
All right.
You do it too fast, too quick, it's not going to be quality.
6 months for ordinances is nothing. Trust me.
Especially when you're doing the whole thing, so. Who knows?
Yeah.
So, okay, so after the 3rd meeting of next month, we'll stay for the ordinance thing.
And do you want us to have anything prepared for that?
I think we just come with our paperwork and sit down and start having a discussion, and where it takes us, it takes us. It's the only way to really get in there.
Do we want all the department heads there for that one?
I think it would help if they could be there, yeah. And after we come up with our thing, then we give it to legal. But
Can we make a requirement that they're there?
Want to pay them?
yeah, is that a motion?
I mean, I thought Fuzzy was supposed to be at this one and
He's on
He's on
vacation. But I can't require it, the council as a whole can require him if you want to make a motion.
do they get paid when
Does
they come?
would he need to be there for the whole,
If you pay them for 1 hour, if you pay them for 1 hour, you're going to pay them.
no, I
Under
meant,
the contract.
I mean, are we going to review those next time? Do we have to mandate him to be there at that meeting, or are we just going to review, say, the planning and zoning ordinances next time?
Well, right, that's what
Could we request in writing what they've come up with so far and submit it to us for our first meeting? And then if we have any questions at all about it, then we can ask them to be.
I like that.
Well, I mean, Fuzzy gave me what he's suggesting right now.
So if we get it from
No.
Kevin also,
And,
Yeah.
and planning zoning.
right?
I will say that, is it good enough if I come up with what's in my head from the planning and zoning notes and stuff like that? Because as secretary.
If that's what you discussed, and
Okay.
it needs addressing, then.
We gotta start somewhere, and there's gonna be a lot of red lines and stuff as we go, but my opinion is that the department heads and other affected people should be a part of the whole process, because if we pay more money now to do it and get it over with, it's gonna be cheaper in the long run just to get this thing done, because something might come up where later on, you say, well, that's not gonna work, this specific one, so if there's a motion that they're required to be at these meetings, someone can make it, and
I don't think we need to be here right now. If we've got the information, but what I'm saying is we want to know what ordinances are outdated, what ordinances need to be improved, changed, or whatever. Once we determine what is in there that can go out, has to come in or has to be changed, then we can legally go through that process and set up the whole thing to be typed up and redone in a format that is understandable.
Yep, and then we can say they need to be there to go fine tune it, okay, that's fine.
And I will just let you know that the planning and zoning committee, would approve the Coleraine city ordinances
Yeah.
with only 2 minor things, so.
Boy, we're getting close.
Well, no, one's not minor.
Well, good, so
So,
then,
yeah, I will just let you know. I'm not gonna take out something and send it to you guys. Is that okay?
But so you have notes in your head though, or you have,
I got notes in my paper, yeah.
can you make copies for everybody for that for next week, so we can all?
we got 3 weeks to think about it, so
Yeah.
it'd be nice to be able to look at that, and
Are we having a meeting July 3rd?
I usually don't, because of the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Can I make a motion
Oh, people are
that
gonna
we
be
don't
on.
have one July 3rd?
What's
Second
that?
until the 3rd?
Can I make a motion that we don't have one?
You can make a motion for anything you want to.
Yes, you can.
You wanna make the motion, go make the motion.
Yes, I would like to make a motion that we do not meet on the 3rd of July.
Do you wanna, okay, do you wanna meet on a different day that week, or just not have a meeting, it's only one meeting that month?
I would like to just have one meeting that month.
Okay. Is there a second? Second by Johnson, any further discussion? So, then we'll just stick to what we want on our 3rd meeting, and not do what we were gonna do on this 1st meeting then, right?
We just won't discuss the comprehensive plan next, in
Okay.
July, so we'll just take it back up next month.
Okay? Any further discussion? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Anything else?
Just let you know that the 15th annual Great River Energy Bike Tour is coming up on August 3rd, and they have between 700 and 750 riders. So,
Nice.
that's
We're in beautiful downtown Bovey. Very good.
Anything else?
Does it say where they're starting, where they're ending?
There's 4 different starting points that you can choose from, so what are they from? Gilbert Hockey Arena, Fuel Curling Club, Nashwauk Rec Center, or Taconite Trail Kiosk.
And where are they ending?
They're going from Gilbert to Grand Rapids, but you can start anywhere.
I'd start at that night, for sure.
Yeah.
And that's the
Yeah, right the trailhead there.
Start at Gilbert, it's 72 miles, and Buell, it's 52 miles, Nashwauk, 25 miles, Taconite, 11.
It's a lot, 11 miles.
Yeah.
So,
Wait for a marshmallow like me.
that's it.
So, anything else for the council, for the good of the citizens? All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Hegemovich, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Meyer Nail, any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.